Picture this: a young woman from a wealthy family, poised to become a K-pop idol, steps away from the spotlight just as her dream is within reach, only to crash into a storm of scandals that rock an entire industry. Welcome to the wild, unpredictable story of Han Seo-hee, a name that's become synonymous with chaos in South Korea's entertainment world. From her early days chasing stardom to her explosive controversies with some of K-pop's biggest stars, her journey is a roller coaster of ambition, rebellion, and fallout. In this video, we're diving deep into her life, starting with her rise, then her scandals, and finally, the aftermath that changed everything. It's a tale you won't believe, and we've got all the details. Love gripping stories like this? Hit that subscribe button. Han Seo-hee came into the world on January 22, 1995, in the bustling city of Seoul, South Korea. Born into a well-off family, she grew up with the kind of privileges that many could only dream of: money, connections, and a safety net that seemed unbreakable. From a young age, she had a spark, a drive that pushed her toward the spotlight. She wasn't content to just sit back and enjoy the comforts of her upbringing. Han wanted more. She wanted to be seen, to be known, and the glittering world of K-pop seemed like the perfect stage for her ambitions. As a teenager, she set her sights on becoming an idol, one of those flawless stars who dominate South Korea's music scene with their catchy songs and perfectly choreographed dances. Her journey began in earnest in 2011 when she auditioned for JYP Entertainment, one of the biggest names in the K-pop industry. Han didn't just walk in and hope for the best. She blew them away, landing first place in the competition. It was a huge win, the kind that could open doors to a dazzling career. But for reasons that remain a bit fuzzy, she never officially signed with JYP. Maybe it was a change of heart, or maybe the timing wasn't right. Whatever the case, Han didn't let that stop her. She kept chasing her dream, determined to make it big. The next year, in 2012, she took another shot at fame by appearing on a reality TV show called Birth of a Great Star 3. It was a chance to show off her talents to the whole country, and while she didn't make it to the top 12, she caught the eye of some important people in the entertainment world. Her name started buzzing, and soon offers from different companies came rolling in. Han eventually found herself training under Jellyfish Entertainment, a company known for producing successful acts like VXX and Gugudan. She threw herself into the grueling life of a K-pop trainee. Long hours of dance practice, singing lessons, and learning how to charm the camera. It's a brutal grind, one that breaks a lot of hopefuls, but Han seemed to thrive on it. She was slated to debut with Gugudan, a girl group that was generating a lot of hype. Everything was lining up for her big moment. She could almost taste the fame, the screaming fans, the sold-out concerts, the magazine covers. But then, just as the finish line came into view, she walked away. Right before Gugudan's debut in 2016, Han left Jellyfish Entertainment. No one knows exactly why. Some say she got cold feet. Others whisper about disagreements behind closed doors. Whatever happened, it was a shocking move. One that left people scratching their heads and wondering what could have been. Leaving the trainee life didn't mean Han was done with the entertainment world though. She had connections, and she wasn't afraid to use them. Her family's wealth and her own knack for networking kept her in the orbit of powerful players in the industry. She started popping up in places where the elite of K-pop and Korean showbiz hung out. Exclusive parties, upscale clubs, the kinds of spots where deals are made over expensive drinks. Han wasn't just some rich kid coasting by. She had a sharp mind and a bold personality that made her stand out. People noticed her, and not always for the right reasons. She began to carve out a reputation as someone who could get close to the stars, someone who knew things others didn't. For a while, it looked like she might pivot into something new, maybe modeling, maybe acting, maybe just being a socialite with a flair for drama. She had the looks, the confidence, and the cash to back it up. But Han didn't settle into any one path. Instead, she kept hovering around the edges of fame, dipping her toes into different ventures without fully committing. She tried her hand at social media influencing, posting glamorous shots and cryptic captions that kept people guessing about her next move. Her Instagram became a window into a life that seemed equal parts dazzling and chaotic. A mix of designer clothes, late-night adventures, and hints of something deeper brewing beneath the surface. Han's early years and her brush with K-pop stardom paint a picture of a young woman who had everything going for her, but couldn't quite find her footing. She was born into privilege, yes, but she didn't just sit on it. She chased after something bigger, something that would make her a household name. Her time as a trainee showed she had talent and determination, enough to get her within arm's reach of the dream. Yet, when it came time to take that final leap, she stepped back, choosing a different road that would soon lead her into uncharted territory. It's a story of ambition, near misses, and a restless spirit that refused to stay still, even if it meant leaving behind the one thing she'd worked so hard to achieve. Han Seo-hee's life took a sharp turn when she found herself tangled up in a series of scandals that would thrust her into the public eye, not as a shining K-pop idol, but as a figure shrouded in controversy. It all kicked off in 2016, just as she was drifting away from her trainee days with Jellyfish Entertainment. She'd been hovering around the edges of fame, rubbing shoulders with big names in Seoul's nightlife, when whispers started circulating about her connection to a rising star named T.O.P. from the mega-popular boy band Big Bang. T.O.P., whose real name is Choi Seung-hyun, was a household name in South Korea, known for his cool demeanor and sharp lyrics. Han, still a relatively unknown figure at the time, was about to become a key player in a drama that would shake the K-pop world. The trouble began when police launched an investigation into T.O.P.'s alleged marijuana use, a big deal in South Korea, where drug laws are strict and public opinion is even stricter. Han's name came up fast. Authorities claimed she'd smoked marijuana with T.O.P. at his apartment in October 2016. It wasn't just a casual accusation. They had evidence, including text messages and hair tests that pointed to both of them. Han didn't deny it. She admitted to the police that she'd used the drug with him, saying it happened while they were hanging out together. The news hit like a bombshell. T.O.P. was a superstar, part of a group that had millions of fans across the globe, and here was this young woman, barely out of her trainee phase, dragging his name into a scandal that could ruin him. The fallout was immediate. T.O.P. faced intense scrutiny, not just from the law, but from the court of public opinion. He was charged with marijuana use, and in June 2017, he stood trial. Han was there too, testifying as a witness. She didn't hold back, confirming the details of their meetups and painting a picture of a casual, reckless moment that spiraled out of control. The court handed T.O.P. a 10-month suspended sentence, meaning he'd avoid jail if he stayed out of trouble for 2 years. But the damage to his reputation was done. Fans were split. Some defended him, others turned their backs. Han, meanwhile, got hit harder by the legal system. Because she'd been caught with marijuana before, back in 2015, she was seen as a repeat offender. In July 2017, she was sentenced to 3 years in prison, though it was suspended for 4 years of probation. She also had to complete 120 hours of drug treatment. It was a harsh wake-up call, but Hannah didn't fade into the shadows just yet. While the T.O.P. scandal was still fresh, Han found herself linked to another high-profile mess in 2019, this time with B.I., the former leader of the boy group iKON. B.I., whose real name is Kim Hanbin, was another rising star, known for his songwriting and charisma. Rumors started swirling that he'd tried to buy drugs, and once again, Han's name popped up. Dispatch, a Korean media outlet famous for digging up dirt, released text messages allegedly between B.I. and Han from 2016. In them, B.I. seemed to ask her about buying LSD and marijuana, even joking about how he'd fly after taking them. Han reportedly agreed to help him get the stuff. The messages were explosive, and when they went public, B.I.'s career took a nosedive. He admitted to the conversations, apologized, and left iKON and his agency, YG Entertainment, in June 2019. Han, for her part, didn't stay quiet. She went to the police and confirmed the texts were real, saying she'd acted as a middleman for BI's drug requests. The investigation didn't lead to charges against him. There wasn't enough hard evidence of a completed deal, but the scandal left his reputation in tatters. Han wasn't done stirring the pot. In 2020, she made headlines again, this time clashing with a powerful figure in the K-pop industry, Yang Hyun-suk, the head of YG Entertainment. She claimed Yang had threatened her back in 2016, pressuring her to change her story about BI to protect the idol and the company. Han said she'd been scared into lying to the police initially, but now she was ready to spill the truth. It was a bold accusation against a man who'd built an empire in Korean entertainment. Yang denied it, and the police looked into it, but the case fizzled out without clear proof. Still, Han's willingness to take on someone that big turned heads. She wasn't just a bystander in these scandals. She was a lightning rod, drawing attention and chaos wherever she went. Then came her feud with Wonho, a former member of the boy group Monsta X. In 2019, Han took to social media, hinting that she knew dirt about Wonho from their past. She suggested he'd been involved in shady stuff as a teenager, including an alleged stint in juvenile detention. Wonho's fans were furious, but the rumors gained traction when old photos of him with Han surfaced online. The pressure mounted, and in October 2019, Wonho left Monsta X, saying he didn't want to drag the group down. Han never provided solid evidence, but her words had power, enough to shake a career loose from its foundations. She reveled in the attention, posting cryptic messages that kept people guessing about what she'd say next. Through all this, Han's personal life became a spectacle too. She started dating Young Da-eun, a fellow trainee turned influencer, in 2018. Their relationship was loud and messy, full of public spats and makeups. In 2020, Young accused Han of abuse, saying she'd been hit and manipulated during their time together. Han fired back, calling it a lie, and claiming Young was just bitter after their breakup. The drama played out online, with both airing their grievances for the world to see. It was another layer of chaos in Han's already turbulent story, one that kept her name trending for all the wrong reasons. Han Seo-hee's scandals weren't just isolated incidents. They were a whirlwind of drugs, betrayal, and power plays that sucked in some of K-pop's biggest names. She didn't stumble into these controversies. She walked into them, eyes wide open, and came out swinging every time. Whether it was marijuana with T.O.P., LSD with BI, or throwing shade at Wonho, Han became a symbol of trouble in an industry obsessed with perfection. Her actions left careers in ruins, fans heartbroken, and the public hooked on the next twist. She wasn't a victim or a villain. She was something else entirely, a wild card who thrived in the mess she made. The scandals that swirled around Han Seo-hee didn't just fade away, they left a deep mark on everyone involved, reshaping careers, reputations, and even the K-pop industry itself. When her name first exploded into the headlines alongside T.O.P. in 2016, the shockwaves were immediate. Big Bang was one of the biggest acts in the world, and T.O.P.'s marijuana scandal hit the group like a freight train. Fans were devastated, some clinging to his apology, while others walked away for good. His career took a nosedive. He stepped back from the spotlight, enlisted in mandatory military service, and kept a low profile after his 2017 sentencing. The once untouchable rapper became a cautionary tale, and Han's role in dragging him down made her a lightning rod for hate. Big Bang's legacy endured, but the stain of that scandal lingered, a reminder of how fragile fame can be. The BI situation in 2019 hit even harder. When those text messages leaked, iKON was riding high, and BI was the creative heart of the group. His sudden exit crushed the band's momentum. Fans rallied with hashtags and petitions, begging for his return. But the damage was irreversible. YG Entertainment, already battered by other controversies, took a financial hit. Stocks dropped, and trust in the company eroded further. B.I. disappeared from the scene for a while, only resurfacing in 2021 with solo music under a new label. His diehard supporters stuck by him, but the broader public still saw him through the lens of Han's accusations. She didn't just end his time with iKON, she cast a shadow over his future, proving her words could break more than just silence. Wonho's departure from Monsta X was another casualty of Han's chaos. Her vague claims about his past fueled a firestorm of rumors, and even without hard proof, the pressure was too much. Monsta X lost a key member, and their fans, known as Monbebes, were left reeling. The group pushed forward, but the scandal left a crack in their unity that took years to mend. Wonho eventually cleared his name through a police investigation and relaunched as a solo artist in 2020. But the ordeal cost him time, trust, and the brotherhood he'd built with his bandmates. Han's whispers had turned a thriving career into a fight for redemption, and the industry took notice. Idols weren't as invincible as they seemed. Beyond the individual wreckage, Han's scandals rippled through K-pop's polished facade. South Korea's entertainment world thrives on perfection. Idols are expected to be flawless role models, untarnished by human flaws. Han exposed the cracks in that illusion, showing how close the stars were to the same mistakes as anyone else. Fans started questioning the system, and companies tightened their grip, enforcing stricter rules and monitoring their artists more closely. Drug tests became more common, and the stigma around marijuana, already intense, grew even sharper. Han didn't spark a revolution, but she forced a reckoning. K-pop's squeaky clean image would never feel quite as convincing again. As for Han herself, the years after 2020 saw her navigating a strange new reality. Her probation from the T.O.P case hung over her, a constant reminder to stay in line. She dodged prison, but the legal leash kept her from disappearing entirely. Social media became her stage. She kept posting, leaning into her notoriety with a mix of defiance and mystery. Her Instagram was a roller coaster of glamorous selfies, cryptic rants, and the occasional jab at her haters. She wasn't raking in millions, but she wasn't broke either. Her family's wealth gave her a cushion most couldn't dream of. Still, the influencer life wasn't enough to satisfy her restless energy. She tried launching a clothing brand in 2021, but it fizzled fast, drowned out by her past more than her products. By 2025, Han Seo-hee had settled into a quieter existence, at least by her standards. She was still in Seoul, still popping up online, but the days of toppling idols seemed behind her. At 30 years old, she'd outgrown the wild child phase, though her edge never dulled. Rumors swirled about a tell-all book or a reality show, but nothing stuck. Her relationship with Jung Da-eun was long over, the drama buried in their old posts. She wasn't a pariah, but she wasn't welcome in mainstream circles either. Too unpredictable, too tied to the messes she'd made. Friends said she was focusing on herself, maybe even regretting how far she'd pushed things. The public still watched, waiting for her next move, but Han seemed content to let them wonder. Her scandals had burned bright, torching careers and shaking an industry, but now she was an ember, glowing faintly in the aftermath. And there you have it, the saga of Han Seo-hee, a woman who went from K-pop hopeful to a catalyst of chaos, leaving a trail of shattered careers and a shaken industry in her wake. From her near miss with stardom to scandals that toppled giants like T.O.P and B.I., her story is a wild ride that's finally simmered down into a quieter, more mysterious chapter. But the impact? It's still felt across K-pop, where perfection isn't as bulletproof as it once seemed. What do you think? Did Han get a raw deal, or did she bring it all on herself? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into her life, don't miss out. Subscribe to our channel for more gripping tales from the world of entertainment. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.